I have never been so proud of Governor Ron DeSantis than I am right now here in Florida. Standing in the face of some of the most withering assaults, misinformation, and bold-faced lies, he has stayed the course. He has stood strong. He has a great deal to be proud of. All of the CNN headlines about this many thousand new cases or that many thousand new cases, and all of this stuff and why everyone should be afraid. They don't ever give you the net number. They just give you the gross new number. They don't talk about the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands who 2 weeks ago had it, don't have it now, got over it. They never give you the net number. They just give you the one that's going to try to facilitate what they want to happen in November. Weak leadership can wreck the soundest strategy. Sun Tzu. And in this video, I'm going to do something that's probably going to shock a lot of people. But it is a poor strategist, a poor analyst, that doesn't continually update his assessment of the battlefield. And we have a new battlefield than we had 6 months ago, 9 months ago, a year and a half ago. It would have been nice in 2000, late 18 maybe, third-party candidates stand up and say, I am going to use my position in D.C. to return power to the states and let the governors make their own decisions and let them chart their own course. Because I believe we can stand together as Americans, not having to all answer to Washington, D.C. That would have been great. That would have been ideal. But we're 5 months out from an election now, and that hasn't occurred. So yesterday, I created this mask, and I made it very specifically the way that I did to get a message across. This mask is why in November I'm voting Trump 2020. And at the bottom it says, Shal Kek Nemron, which is from the Stargate series. The Jaffa used that term to basically say, I die free. And if that's the case, let it be the case. If they are going to mandate masks, they are going to make it so that you can't go out without one, fine. We will use that opportunity to turn the tide against them. We are in a situation right now where we are only looking at one issue that will change America, and it's this. There are these people who would have this entire country be run like prisons are run. And that's what this is really about. Make no mistake, they want prison rules on the ground. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why I officially endorsed Donald Trump for president 2020. And this is the issue, the only issue that matters. People take 911, fire, ambulance, emergency rescue for granted. The vast majority of the good work they do, the 99.9999% of the time, is done at night, overnight, when everyone is sleeping. Here's the adorable meme that they've created. See, they show this beautiful bowl of ice cream, and they want to take the scoops out of the evil police budget and put it in affordable housing, job training, education, mental health counseling, and substance abuse treatment, because we all know that criminals take advantage of all of those things to change their criminal ways. Affordable housing. If you want to see the affordable housing nightmare that is the south side of Chicago, by all means, go live there. Projects as far as the eye can see. And that was the original thought there. Let's just create low-income housing because criminals are only criminals because they can't afford the rent. And then there's job training, because we all know that criminals are criminals because, golly, nobody looked at their LinkedIn profile today and didn't call them in for an interview. Who saw the video of the Amazon driver, blessed beyond measure these days to actually have a job, whining and crying about having to work 12 hours a day, who just abandoned his van full of stuff and then had his little tweet about that go viral, just walked away from a job. Millions and millions of Americans would love to have a job. Love to have a job right now. And his C goes viral because he walks away from one. Education. This has been the biggest joke I have ever seen in my life. You really think criminals, if they, golly, only had one more course in high school, or seriously? A college education? You think that's going to stop them, some drug-addicted thugs, from breaking into a house at night? Who are you going to call? The Department of Education? The Department of Job Training? When someone's kicking in your grandparents' door? And I love Minneapolis' solution. Oh, by the way, let's hire rent-a-cops. That's what they're talking about, private security. $6 an hour rent-a-cops. Between you and people who would do some of the most heinous, disgusting, horrible thing that, oh, by the way, goes on every day in prison. Because that's what they want. Mental health counseling. Yep, that's what the criminal needs. They just need to sit on a couch and explain away why they're acting like criminals. They need to justify it. They need some nice liberal doctoral candidate to sit there and agree with them and shake their hand and say, yes, it's not your fault that you're a 5-time felon. It's the system. Or the giant, completely failed war on drugs, substance abuse treatment. Doesn't work. You have to have people that want to be treated. You really think the criminals are out there every night thinking, man, gosh, if somebody could just get me off this stuff, I wouldn't have to kick in this door and do all this harm to these people. There is one issue and one issue only. You are either going to vote (D), which will turn this country into basically a giant open-air prison with prison rules, meaning that if somebody comes into your store and you catch them shoplifting, it's your job to give them a 3-step head start. And then if you can run them down, or somebody can run them down and not do any physical harm to them, beat them in a wrestling match in a fair fight, and then return the goods, and then of course have videotape of all that to make sure no harm was done to the criminal. Unless you can do that, then, it's police brutality. This is what they want. They want free reign, just like in prison, to might makes right, law of the jungle. This is what they want. Not law of the land, law of the jungle. You see somebody prowling around and doing things they're not supposed to and acting suspiciously, you can't come anywhere near them. And guarantee this, if you go to civilian security, if you go to private security, you aren't going to have public servants. You're going to have for-profit servants. You're going to have people that will say, you know what, if I risk ending up having my face put on the news, or stopping this break-in, or stopping this other thing, I'm sorry. I'm a $11 an hour rent-a-cop. No way. Because as you know, they're all innocent. They all didn't do nothing. Every single one of them. It's all anyone who is better off in life than they are. That's who the problem is. They're going to destroy the basic institutions that make this country a civilized society. If you vote (D). Unfortunately, in this particular case, we do not 5 months out have a choice. If it was my daughters, my grandparents, my grandchild, my aunt, my sister, any other one of my loved ones, this is what I want showing up. I want lights. I want sirens. I want guys that are ready to throw down and not worry about some idiot with a cell phone. I want there to be people showing up that are going to scare the crap out of the criminals. And if you're not for that, then you're for the criminals. See, it's all well and good until it's your loved one. It's all well and good until it's somebody you care about. I brought up this image because I think it's appropriate. It doesn't say, suggest to a child calmly the way he should go. It says, train up a child in the way that he should go. Training, as in the military style of training. There were many ways that life in the military was easier than when I was a kid. My parents were pretty strict. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. You see, that's the problem. Nobody thinks these days long-term about what their actions are going to mean. Because all of this silliness back here about, let me see if I can find the picture, hold on. All of these things down here, these are what might help mitigate the amount of crime long-term down the road, decades. But as we can see, and I can show you proof, none of this worked. None of this worked. None of this is going to work. You can go to any major city in this country and see the complete and total failure of these social programs. When it's your grandparents and it's their door getting kicked in, are you going to want, when they call 911, them to get a busy signal? They say, oh, we don't have enough people tonight. Here's the mental health or substance abuse hotline. When the criminals come into your room, just give them the phone number. When they decide to do whatever they're doing, just continually tell them that it's not their fault, that they're justified. In fact, when they're breaking in the door, just as they come in, make sure you're there in front taking a knee. That's what 911's suggestion will be. Not my first choice, believe me. But as it stands right now, it's the only choice. Donald Trump, 2020. Like, share, subscribe.